Welcome to the third episode of my 5-part series where we're going to be looking at the songs on mystic humanism and breaking down them both lyrically and musically. Today we're going to be looking at Natural Phenomenon and Welcome to the Metaverse. Natural Phenomenon was a song that was written as part of a songwriter group where each week you write a song and you show it to the group, and the person running the group would give a prompt each week. And the prompt for that week that I wrote this song was just Natural Phenomenon, so I maybe took it a little too literally, but I actually went more with a metaphorical idea of a natural phenomenon. The idea of like someone who's like really talented or skilled with their instrument or their craft or whatever it is, and is basically like a natural phenomenon at that. So for that I kind of looked at Kurt Cobain as sort of this person who I was kind of writing the song about. And it's sort of about the idea of how you can become so talented at your instrument or your craft or whatever, and you can gain some fame from that, and how that can affect you in negative ways, and it's not always all it's cracked up to be. Not that I know too much about fame, but that was just sort of the angle I was taking on it. I think I wrote it after listening to Phoebe Bridgers and Julian Baker do a cover of Julian Welch's Everything's Free, and so it's kind of musically similar to that, but I think it's also lyrically similar, which I didn't really think about at the time when I was writing the lyrics. It's like, it does have sort of similar lyrical themes, because Julian Welch's song is about like being a musician and how all your music needs to be free now, basically, because everyone just wants to stream everything, or I guess at the time we've been downloading everything, and how you kind of have to give it away. And it's sort of, I guess, a similar theme to what this song is about. This song was actually the only song on the album that was fully recorded in the studio. Everything else had a bit of stuff I'd recorded at home, but this one, because it's a very like acoustic song and with like live strings and stuff, the entire thing was actually recorded in studio. And so we had some strings play on it, and piano and acoustic guitar. It's actually, I think it's actually the only song that doesn't really have any electric instruments either. Everything is like an acoustic instrument on this song. It's kind of a standout one on the album, because everything else does have a lot of like electric instruments and drum machines and stuff. So it's maybe a bit similar to Tragic Nostalgia kind of stuff, but I thought it fit the rest of the record, so I put it on there anyways. It's just sort of like an idea of writing a song kind of about something futuristic, and I was like, well, why not like write a song about being in the metaverse? It's sort of about like new technologies and whatnot, and sort of making sure you keep yourself grounded and sort of always kind of be aware of technology and not let it like get the best of you. Stuff is here to stay, for the good or for bad, and it's sort of, the song is about just making sure you keep that in check and don't lose track of who you really are and what's real. A lot of experimenting with like drum machines and synthesizers on this one, and this came from a sound from Microkorg with like an arpeggiator on it, and I actually had to like take that little sample and sort of loop it, because the arpeggiator wasn't really sticking to a consistent tempo, so we couldn't actually like put a click to it, so I kind of like do a 1-bar progression of it and kind of loop it throughout the entire song. And then musically, yeah, I kind of just wanted to add like a whole bunch of sort of synth that sound futuristic. There's one that kind of comes in sort of midway through, I think the third verse. It's got like a sort of back and forth panning thing. And it's just sort of trying to like make it sound like you're in the metaverse. The drum machine on this song that you hear at the start is like this 8-bit drum from Logic, and it just sort of like sounds like a video game. And I kind of like that to go with the sort of the whole metaverse thing. And originally what I wanted to do was like record the drums in the studio and then sort of like do that 8-bit compression ourselves. And so we tried it. So we had Mike play the drum part all the way through, and then we tried to like sort of distort it and do some compression stuff to it and add some like digital bit crusher sort of thing. But it never really ended up sounding as good as the original Logic ones. So we ended up just like leaving those in there and had to sort of reprogram a few parts of them, because Mike had done some interesting pauses and stuff, so we had to kind of program those into the 8-bit drum machine. A lot of the stuff on this album is inspired by early 2000s alt rock, and like Gorillaz were a huge inspiration for this song. I think I was trying to write something sort of Gorillaz-y. And I think that's kind of where also the idea for like bringing in like a guest musician, so having Christy Toronto on this one singing the third verse. I just wanted to like have something sort of change it up and kind of bring in some different bring in a different voice onto the record and onto the song. And she came in and sang this beautiful part, and it's like almost like ethereal, and it just fits so well, I think, with the song, and it's just perfect. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this look at the songs. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe, because the next episode's gonna be coming out real soon. So see you then.